Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Kraken Packs video. I'm your host, MrBevers. We're back with another little quickie. This time, we're starting a new set. Ooh, it's time for a new set. Betrayers of Kamigawa. That's right. Betrayers of Kamigawa. This is a set I have not opened in a very, very long time. I actually played a little bit of this set back when it first came out, but only very minimal. We sort of got back into playing right around 7th edition, and we played up until about 9th edition, and then we sort of stopped. And of course, it was while I was in high school, so I didn't have a lot of income to spend on magic cards, but I did have some, so there was, you know, a little bit of playing, but not a lot. So for the first couple weeks, we're going to go real slow, and we're just going to kind of browse through all of the cards. I won't name them all off, but we will just kind of leave them all on screen for a little bit. So this set was based around a lot of like arcane and spirit cards, as well as, of course, you've got your samurais and that kind of stuff. But you can see like there's quite a few spirits here, and arcane spells. And so they had a lot of stuff that was like that allowed you to intertwine stuff between arcane spells. So it's like I can't remember what the keyword was, but I'm sure we'll find it here. Ah, yes, right, and the enchant mountains. Like these, so there was one for each color that enchanted a land, and it turned it into a thing, or made it have an ability that turned it into a thing, much like this mountain one is, you know, 1 mana, enchant a mountain, but pay 2, enchanted mountain becomes a 6/1 red spirit creature until end of turn, it's still a land. But when enchanted mountain is put into your graveyard, you may return Genji of the Spires from your graveyard to your hand. So essentially, if they kill your land, you can just return this enchantment and enchant a different one. That's kind of cool. Heed the Mists. Body of Jukai. An 8/5 trample with Soul Shift. Ah, so Soul Shift was one of the other abilities that they introduced in this set, I believe. So when this is put into a graveyard from play, you may return target spirit card with converted mana cost 8 or less from your graveyard to your hand. So, holy moly. This guy goes and gets a big spirit out of your graveyard. Hey! Most of you will remember this guy because he got reprinted in, what was it, Masters 25 as an uncommon. So there you go. This was a rare during this set. So it's Uwamari of the Open Fist. So 5/5 Trampler. And when it comes into play, each opponent may put a legendary creature card from their hand into play. And you can see there, look, see, no token, no land. That's because that was like, this was back when they didn't really do that. No basic land and no token in each pack. Now, I'm sure we'll find as we go through this quickie, or not so quickie this time, but as we go through the series, we'll see that the foils, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, take up like the actual card slot. So if you're missing a common, you'll have a foil common at the back, kind of thing. I believe. We're just leaving them up long enough that if you want to read any of them with more detail, you can just pause the video. Just pause it. Take a good look. Ah, Bushido. Bushido is one of those abilities that was introduced during the Kamigawa block as well. It's kind of like similar to flanking, I guess, only in favor of you, I guess. Suzuki's Summons as our first uncommon. And Shuko, one of these good old zero-cost equip cards. So if you, this was a card that I played in my infinite life and infinite damage cleric deck back in the day from the Onslaught block, because there was a cleric that said every time it became a target of spell or ability, increase its toughness by 1, essentially, so give it +0, +1, and you could just shift these back and forth infinitely as long as your opponent didn't have any response. And you could just basically make it infinite toughness, and then you have a card that lets you sack it to gain life equal to its toughness. And then I would also play things like Switcheroo and things like that in the deck to switch the power and toughness, and then you could sack it and deal damage equal to its power. Eradicate. And woo! How about a Jite? Everybody knows this card, or if you don't know this card is sweet. This is actually one of the heavy hitters from this set. It's a $20 ticket right there. $20 card. So it's a 2-mana equipment that says whenever equipped creature deals combat damage, put 2 charge counters on Umezawa's Jite. Then you can remove a charge counter from Jite, choose 1. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn, or target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn, or you gain 2 life. And it costs 2 to equip. So the cool thing about Jite is that when you attack with it, if it deals damage to a player, you get 2 counters. You can then remove 1 charge counter to do one of the abilities. So every attack that hits gives you 2 triggers of its ability if you want to use it. So it becomes very versatile because you can, like, do a lot of -1s, or you can gain a bunch of life, or, what have you. It's a pretty nice hit. I'm gonna take it. This was also back before they started printing, like, mythics. So everything is just rares. I think we actually just gave away one of those Ninjas of the Deep Hours in foil during the grab bag box. And it turns out that card is worth, like $10 to $12 or something like that. And I was like, holy moly, that's crazy. Unchecked Growth is our first uncommon. There you go. Ooh, a Pus Kami. Just what everybody wanted. Scour. Good old Scour. And our rare? Sway the Stars. Sway of the Stars, I should say. Each player shuffles his or her hand, graveyard, and permanents he or she controls or owns into his or her library, then draws 7 cards. Each player's life total becomes 7. So this is like a game reset. That's interesting. So and so here's the thing: is the reason it's worded as each player shuffles his or her hand, graveyard, and permanents he or she owns into his or her library, is because if your opponent has control of any of your creatures or whatever, that kind of stuff, they get shuffled back into your library just in case, right? Like things like it gets around those weird things where it's like, oh, you might end up shuffling someone else's creature into someone else's graveyard, that kind of thing. So, anyway, there you go. 3 little rares. A Jite in the first week. I mean, can't complain about that. I don't know if we're going to get... The only way we're going to get better than Jite in a week is if we find a Goryo's Vengeance, I guess. Or maybe we find a foil Jite. That would be pretty cool. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I have been your host, MrBevers. This has been a somewhat not-so-quick Quickie of Betrayers of Kamigawa. Thanks for watching, and as always, may your pulls ever be better.